It comes with losing your church, losing your protection, the institutions of protection of the common good, right? Suddenly, we as Catholics have no place to hide, no grounds for conscientious objection. Or as we all saw during COVID, no grounds even for religious exemption from vaccination, experimental vaccination, right? Pope Francis, made sure of that. You see how it works? And now what am I talking about? What am I getting at? Well, Mr. Pro-lifer, you're next. Well, Mrs. Pro-traditional marriage, you're next in America. It's coming for you now. And this is the concern. So pay attention here. This is what we are talking about. Nobody is saying we should vote, that it's not going to be worse under Kamala, but what we're saying, something else is at work, something much bigger. And this forms that dilemma, again, that Feser's talking about. Because by cutting Bible-based social conservatism out of the Republican platform, something similar is happening to conservatives in this country, or is about to happen, as has happened to traditional Catholics who are now being investigated by the FBI. Something similar. And what is that? Team Trump and the Republican Party are isolating social conservatives. We're right on the cusp. We're right on the beginning of this. It's already happening to some extent. It's going to happen in steroids very soon. And it's not going to happen just for 4 years under the Harris administration. See, this is what I mean. We got to think down the road, way beyond November. And a lot of you are confused by that. Man, don't you know it's coming up in November? If we lose to Harris, it's all over. Okay, if we lose to Harris, yeah, we're gonna have a hellish 4 years, no doubt about that. On the other hand, we already lived through Biden. We already lived through Barack Obama, who's the sort of the chief cook and bottle washer of all of this. We lived through the Clintons, right? So probably we're going to be okay under a Harris thing. Not okay, but we're going to make it under a Harris administration so long as we hold together the serious, principled, God-centered, Christocentric opposition. You see? We're not talking about just 4 years. We're talking about permanently if we lose that. Permanently we lose. We lose the war. That's what we're concerned about. So as the Republican Party now abandons Bible-based positions on abortion and homosexual marriage, for example, you, my friend, and I, and our children, and our friends, and our family will become increasingly isolated, increasingly fringe, right? Increasingly radical, of course. Without any sort of cover from a legitimate party, mainstream party that's known for being conservative, socially conservative on things like abortion and gay marriage, right? And if you hang on, first you're going to be labeled an extremist, already happening. And if you persist, you will be categorized as a domestic terrorist threat. That's what we're concerned about with this stripping of the Republican Party of the social conservatism, the Bible-based issues over which we as Christians are called to die before we sell out on. It's a big problem for us. We will have no political party platform behind which to hide very soon if something doesn't happen to stop this. So this brings up the question. There's a lot of chit-chat about the lesser and greater of two evils. I don't think most people understand what that truly means. Hopefully we'll get to that tonight. But instead of asking what's the lesser of two evils, let's ask what's the greater of two evils? What's the greater of two evils? What's the bigger concern here for all of us? And again, I'm trying to give you the concern that I have and a lot of people have, right? We're going to get to whether or not you can vote for Donald Trump and whether or not it's morally obligatory not to or to vote for Trump. But what's the greater evil? What we're arguing is that voting for the permanent abolition of a socially conservative force, a socially conservative party in this country, one that respects the law of God and the law of nature, voting to abolish that could be, no, in my opinion, friends, it is the greater evil. That's the concern. You think we can hang on to that once we get rid of all this stuff about abortion and gay marriage and start accepting IVF and contraception and divorce and everything else? You think we're ever going to be able to put that genie back in the bottle? Of course not.